Shinobi, open your eyes. For the sake of your master.
Hey everyone, it's Blue Lizard Jello and welcome back to another episode and the final episode of Everything Possible in Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Last time we saw the beginning of the end, and indeed Ashina has largely fallen to the Interior Ministry. Flames are ablaze, Ishin is now dead, Emma mourns over the body, and the sculptor is missing. And today we're going to unravel many, if not all, of those mysteries. But before we do that, I made a couple of mistakes, and we're going to rectify those here in just a moment. We're going to sit at the idol. First and foremost, we do have enough prayer necklaces to complete the 10th and final prayer necklace. Let's go ahead and do that. The 7 spears of Ashina were pivotal in Ishin's coup. He awarded the lance to none but his most loyal samurai, yet now only a few of the 7 remain. That now gives us our max vitality and posture. I also did a little bit of farming off screen with the enemies just in this area that I showed at the end of the last video to get up to 9 skill points to unlock the Spiral Cloud Passage. Now this is kind of an upgrade. If you take a look to the Floating Passage, so Floating Passage looks something like this, which takes no spirit emblems, and then the Floating Cloud Passage, there is just a lot going on all around it, and it does in fact take some spirit emblems, but we're going to use it just to play around a little bit with one particular boss, of which, by the way, there are 3 today. Little conversation in the comments, and I'll get to that when we get to those bosses, but just the idea of what makes a separate boss encounter, and I would actually love to hear everyone's opinion down in the comments when we get to that section. But first, let's go ahead and travel. I goofed, and I forgot 2 idols to activate, which aren't really all that important since we're about to finish the game, but I did miss a couple of items, one of which is very important, and I did leave a message on the video itself, knowing full well that I had missed it when I was editing, but there is also an item near it which is not nearly as important. But let's head to the Ashina Castle. We'll head to the antechamber, and I'm not too worried about taking out these next enemies cleanly, so what I'm going to do instead, I'm just going to zip on up, because like I said, even though getting this tower idol is not going to be all that important, just for completion's sake, we have to do it. Completely forgot to run up here just to activate this. Of course, the doors are now shut. Remember that Emma is just inside over the body of Ishin, who has now succumbed to his illness, quite possibly from dragon rot. Now we're going to hop down. We're going to hope that our grapple, there we go, grabs onto something before we kind of fall to our death. And let's worry about taking out some of these more difficult enemies, if at all possible. But we don't want to take out the weaker enemies if we can help it. There's a nice kill with the Floating Cloud Passage, just a lot of fun. We don't have Suzako's umbrella just yet. Could honestly just be skipping all of them, but we are here, so why not? You can see it does just absolutely shred their posture. A lot of fun, but against more difficult enemies that can poise through that, it can be extremely difficult. Oh, look, I even got a Fulminated Mercury. There's some Ministry Dowsing Powder, and here is the more important item, the Fulminated Mercury. That's a guarantee item right there on the stairs. I also forgot this individual. Now, we've already done it, but he's the one who would actually tell us about that Shinobi kite.
You're Shinobi, right? Please, reinforce the men in the castle outskirts. They're on the verge of defeat. You can climb on that mud wall to get to the roof. There should be a Shinobi kite there. Forget about me. Help those in the castle grounds. Please, for Ashina.
Funny how he says I should forget about him, and that's exactly what I did. Let's activate the castle gate, or the Ashina Castle idol. Now we're going to head to the Dilapidated Temple. And the idea here is that we are finally going to be upgrading Suzako's umbrella, which is one that honestly I do recommend upgrading earlier if you can afford it. We do have a lot of materials at our disposal though, so I'm going to start with this. We're going to see what else we can pick up. We definitely want this because against one of the bosses who has a lot of flame attacks, there's a few ways that you can either dodge his attacks or you can just absorb them, especially if you have this Lotus Umbrella. We also can pick up the Great Feather Mist Raven, the Leaping Flame, and then we do have all of the Lazulite upgrades available. We can only pick up a couple of them though due to our limited Lazulite, the Lapis Lazulite. So I do like the Lazulite Shuriken, and since it's the only other one available, we will pick up the Lazulite Sabimaru. These two we will not be able to get until the next new game cycle because, as I mentioned in the last episode, Lapis Lazulite is not farmable. From here, I am also going to stop by the merchant. I'm going to pick up some more Divine Confetti since we have some money and we are actually low on confetti. So you can see that the price has now been reduced by 10%. So we'll just grab a few of these. Give us some in storage. And it's time to carry on. We're going to go right back to the Ashina Outskirts Stairway Idol. And I'm not going to be doing any particular build or setup here. There's not too many more enemies that are in our way. I do like to have Shadow Rush just in case any of the enemies do spot us. But all we're going to do is just start making our way back to where we found Anayama and Kotaro just on the other side of this building. We will be doing a little bit of stealth, not much. But we do have some of the Interior Ministry assassins that are hiding over in some of that long grass. We also do have the dual blade wielding assassins that'll be patrolling. In fact, there should be one of them just underneath here that we can take out first. Let's kill him. We're gonna zip on up. Looks like the other assassins haven't seen us yet, which could be good, could be bad. Should be able to double jump right up this rock. So there's one there, and there's also going to be one just down there. Let's get the jump on him. Looks like the other one has seen us. That's okay. Let's just start attacking, wait for the deflection, and then immediately deflect on your own because, whoop. Often, as I said, they will just get you with a really, really quick slash. Make sure we're getting all that wonderful loot. There is another dual blade assassin that's going to be patrolling down through that gate. You can see another one hiding, and there's also another one of the rats hiding there on the cliff. We're going to be using another Gachi and Spiritfall here in just a second. Let's see where the patrol is at. There he is. So let's Spiritfall, let him go past. You can see two more rats on the building. We're actually going to get after them from the back. Drop on this rooftop. Make sure he gets just far enough away. We can just target this guy if we look down. And then there's the death blow. And we're going to charge this other one to get him from behind. A rat might pop up and try and get us. That's fine. Sounds like he has. Or maybe he has not. Or maybe he fell. In a couple of the practices, he's actually fallen. But yep, there it is. That is interesting. Let's grab this adamantite scrap. I'm not sure exactly what triggers it. Maybe it's running past him in stealth that just causes him to kind of lose his way. But what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to go after those assassins from the back. So instead of heading right up that path where a number of enemies are going to see us, we could go up by way of the memorial mob. But what I like to do is just hop over to this ledge. You can see an enemy with his back towards us. We can get a nice free and easy ledge grab death blow. Take care of him. Now, we gotta see where the ogre is. The ogre is right there, so I'm actually gonna drop down and wait for him to path back a little bit. Actually, we really don't need to drop down. Actually, once he gets up a little bit, we can go right into this grass and start looping around. We're gonna use another Spiritfall and take out all of the enemies in the watchtowers. Makes this section a lot easier. Looks like that should be enough. So let's crouch. Get in the grass. Obviously something has gone horribly wrong over here with all these flames. Do not worry about that individual just yet. Let's zip and zip. Crouch. We're going to Spirit Fall, and we're immediately going to go 1, 2, 3 towers. So to here. And number 2. Now the easiest way is to zip on over to this building, run to the corner. And there we have it. So from here we can actually hop down onto this tree, get the ledge here, and you know my favorite, get on the ledge, use a ceramic shard, get his attention. Oh, that was unfortunate. That was way too early. Luckily, I think we still only have his attention, so we may be okay. We'll have to wait and see. If I had just been a little bit more patient, that would have been absolutely perfect. And okay. He's starting to lose us. You can see his indication icon right there, his indicator icon, excuse me. What I want to do is get on top of this rooftop to take care of those 2 rats. Right. Let's go ahead and use Spirit Fall. We should just be able to jump. We don't even need to shouldn't need to grapple. There it is. Jump and grab again. He's actually looking for us. We might be able to pull this off stealthily still. There's one more rat up there. Doesn't see us. Okay, make sure we're getting all of the loot pulled up. Now, we're not done with enemies just yet. See if we can see any here. It doesn't look like any of the other ones were alerted to us, which is very, very handy. So let's go ahead and grapple up here. We haven't done the looting yet. In fact, what we really want to do, since we want to get that ogre with a stealth death blow, I'm actually going to loop back around, kind of start this process over somewhat. Let's get into the grass. You can see someone over here just died to the fire. So we still have the chained ogre that we can get from behind. We have this individual. There's still another flamethrower. There still are a few more enemies. I guess I didn't have to heal up. I don't want to attempt a blood smoke. Often the ogre will see right through it. This should be good. Get up here. So far, so good. And let's see, where's the ogre at? Is he within jumping distance? He should be. No special rewards for killing him. Another enemies. Oh! Didn't realize they were both hanging out in there. Thought they would have come out. Alright, we'll just use some Spiral Cloud Passage and take them out. Or, actually, no, we have the Shadow Rush. So there's one. And 2. And that should be all of the enemies dead. Most of them killed with stealth. Make sure we get all the loot here. And we're going to head back to the bottom and kind of loot from the bottom up. So we got the adamantite scrap over there. Here we have some ministry dousing powder, which could be useful for the upcoming boss fight. Up inside this dilapidated building, we have some pellets. And then more importantly, just down below, we have some fulminated mercury. And lastly, the last loot item we're actually going to pick up in the... Well, that's actually not true. the last item before the next boss, the lump of grave wax. We are now ready to take on what is largely believed to be the most difficult boss in the game. Completely optional, however, one of the most fun, if not the most fun, that I enjoy fighting at least. So let's talk to this individual and commune with that idol and see what has caused all of these flames.
Everything was burning. The fires raging out of control. Howling was intense.
See that very large, very angry demon ahead of us. One who, the left arm is just made of pure fire. If you can think of any character in this game missing his or her left arm full of anger talking about the flames, you may be able to guess who it is we're about to fight. But we need to get ready. I'm going to show a few different techniques in this fight. As far as combat arts, I am going to be using Spiral Cloud Passage, but only in the third and final phase, just to kind of get some good burst damage. In terms of prosthetics, I will be using the Suzaku's Lotus Umbrella. I'm going to show you how to use this, but also how to dodge the attacks. And then again, holding out for the third and final phase, I'll be using the Malcontent. Kingfisher is etched onto the ring. The Kingfisher's cry could be heard along the waterfront of Sunken Valley. This belonged to the sculptor's friend, and they used to train in that forest. Using this will stun him for quite a bit, but you can only use it 3 times before he becomes immune. So let's grab that. We are also going to be using Akko Sugar and some Divine Confetti right here. And then for that final phase, when we use that Yashiriko, well, for when we use the Divine Confetti in the third phase, I just kind of gave it away, we're also going to be using Yashiriku's, which, remember, gives you a huge boost to your damage, but at the cost of a very, very low amount of health. So it's definitely high risk, high reward. I don't need Ceremonial Tanto, so instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it out for some healing items. I think I'll just do Rice for this one just in case. Of course, let's make sure we rest. Here we go, and I'm going to be doing my best to talk about the different type. Oh, of course, I have to wait for him to take care of the Interior Ministry again. But I'll be talking about the different types of attacks and the different ways that you can go about them. Some of them you can deflect, some you can dodge, some you can make your choice. He does have some perilous attacks, and we'll be showing that off. Okay, looks like the Ministry is dead. Let's buff up. And let's charge in there. We want to stay in his face as much as possible. Well, that was just unfortunate. So here we have this big combo. You want to make sure that you're just dodging as soon as you see his arms start to swing at you. Now that right leg stomp, you can either deflect it like I did, or you can simply dodge at the last second to get some attacks off. I find the blocking or dodging to be more reliable. And there's the stagger, so let's get a lot of free damage on him. Now, with this move, when he jumps up like this, you can run away and then grapple back to him to avoid that fire, or that's when these Suzakos can be really, really useful. And there's his Perilous. In the first phase, as soon as you jump over that Perilous, just start running at him, and you can get a lot of free hits in. There's the deflection. You can see first phase almost done. Running away, so let's just sprint right at him. Should be able to block any attacks he has coming. We should get another stun here soon. There's 1 dodge, 2. Oh. And if he catches you with that stomp, make sure you get out of the way. Oh. Let's heal up again. He missed us. That's perfect. There's the block, or there's the stagger. And that is phase 1. For phase 2, he does have a few other attacks we need to be aware about, so I'm not going to buff up just yet. Stay away because he is going to be pushing you back with his blast anyway, and then usually he's going to jump back and show you his next perilous attack that you have to dodge. Jump as soon as he starts to slam his arm down, and then grapple over to him for a free hit. There's that leg slam. Start charging at him. Free hits because we got right under that attack. And from here, I'm going to show you the Lotus Umbrella. Wait until the smoke mostly clears before you let up, otherwise he's going to actually knock you backwards. There's those dodges. There's the stagger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can actually get up to 8 hits if you time it right. There's deflection, leaves them wide open. The double leg slam luckily doesn't stun you for nearly as long. There's a dodge. And then we get out of there because we got hit. There's the perilous. Alright, so in phase 2, when he does that perilous, he's either, well, he has a couple of attacks he can do. Normally it's going to be that big leg slam, but he has another move he hasn't done yet where he's going to summon flaming bodies against you. And he does a total of 8 of them. There's projected force. Stagger. Hopefully we can get him to do it. We might do it right here if we stay far enough back. Nope, that's the arm slam. If we stay back though, we might get him to summon it. There it is. So all you need to do is lock onto him and just run in circles. Count the number of bodies, because after the 8th one goes past you, then you can start running back in. That was just absolutely poor, so I'm going to run all the way back and heal. There's a nice stagger. We almost have his posture broken. That should do it for phase 2. Oh, not quite. And now we are in phase 3. So he has another perilous attack coming up. I'm going to get ready with my buffs. But as soon as he starts phase 3, watch the kanji, and as soon as it disappears, you need to be ready to jump. He also now has oh, and I'm running through his flaming circle. I was trying to say he has another type of perilous where he charges at you, and he typically does it twice. Well, I'm just backing up so I can try and reset this encounter. And let's see if we can get something going. And we want the Malcontent ready. Alright, let's get in there, see if we can get the stun. And let's hit him with everything we can. And stun him again. Once again, using that spiral cloud or that floating cloud passage or whatever it's called. And one more time. Oh, and I don't have enough spirit emblems. I could use the Tanto if I wanted. We can use Umbrella though, because that only takes 1. Okay, dodge, duck, and then dodge again. There's the one perilous, and he's often going to come right back, so make sure you jump that. And remember, do not go into that burning ring. Johnny Cash had it all wrong. Get a few more hits in. There's a stagger. Block with the umbrella. Wait for the flames to dissipate. And there it is. The Demon of Hatred, also known as the Wonderful Sculptor. a blast to fight. A very, very worthy opponent, and unfortunately a long-lost friend who we may never see again. The one-armed demon prowled the battlefield, consumed by flames of deepest resentment. And we do get a pair of lapis lazuli. Before we leave the area, though, let's head back up to where we once found, well, we now know is Isshin Ashina, but the Tengu of Ashina. Grab some more grave wax. We're going to run past this mysterious old lady. Grab this dragon's blood droplet and let's see what she has to say now that we've taken out the sculptor.
Oh, you're still alive. You know, don't you? You know who the one-armed demon was before.
No.
I see. It might be better that way. What a fate. To be set ablaze in the fires of hatred and suffer eternally as a demon. You put an end to his misery. That's all it was. Some advice. The hatred he channeled has lost its vessel for now. The longer the fires of war rage on, the more ashen this world will become. That does not mean you should step into his place. Now then, be gone already. You have your duties. Things you must accomplish, yes?
Some words of warning from the dear old lady about not being willing to step into the demon's place now that he's gone. Let's go activate this idol and let's teleport to the secret passage where the final confrontation awaits. And just because someone's going to ask, no, you can't go through the gate anymore. Through that door, the final encounter with both Genichiro and Isshin Ashina await. At this point, we're going to have a decision to make as soon as we defeat them both, and that is exactly what we're going to do with Lord Kuro. You do still have some time to go and collect some of the items if you haven't done so already. You even can go back after you've killed the bosses before you choose what you're going to give to Lord Kuro. You can also create a save backup after the fight to make sure you can get all three endings, which is exactly what I'm going to do to make sure that we can see all three and discuss them down in the comments. But let's get ready for this final encounter. I am going to be using the umbrella just because I like the look of it. I'm going to be using the lilac umbrella. This is only going to be for phase 2 of Isshin Sword Saint. I'm not going to be using Malcontent because it won't do any good. Instead, I'm actually going to be using, believe it or not, the Mistraven. The Mistraven in the final phase of Isshin Sword Saint makes it, I wouldn't say easy, but it can really negate his most devious attacks and make it go down very, very quickly. I'm not using any of my combat arts. I think they actually get in the way, and I'm actually going to keep these exact same items. If you're worried about your posture being broken or the damage that you're taking, Ungo's Goken Sugar can definitely help you out, but I do like some buffs here, although, frankly, I'm not going to be using Yashiriko's. It's way too dangerous, so I am going to switch it out for another. In fact, I'm going to use a Bundle Jizo just in case I go down and I want to revive. Let's go see what lies in store in the field where we lost our arm so long ago.
Lord Kuro.
Shinobi of the Divine Air, we meet again. Behold, the second mortal blade.
Genichiro. If you think you can change Ashina's fate with such a thing, you are mistaken. Wolf. No one has the right to the dragon's heritage. It is no one's to bear.
I wish there was another way.
It's all right. One last time.
Yes. Let's finish this.
This fight against Genichiro is much like the time that we fought him as the Way of Tomoe on top of Ashina Castle, but he actually doesn't do his lightning attacks.
I will restore
He's always going to lead with this black Mortal Blade sweep, so if you run behind him you can get a nice good charged thrust attack. When he does that jumping attack, you can absolutely deflect, or you can choose to dodge, which I think might be the better of the two options simply because it gives you more versatility with the follow-up. When he does that flurry attack, I like to go ahead and deflect the first two, but then run backwards, and then you can plan your next attack. Of course, we have a Perilous there, that was a thrust, so make sure you Mikiri counter it. For this fight, it really goes very quickly if you just stay in his face because you can knock him out of a lot of his attack animations. And if he does the Black Mortal Blade, run behind, get an attack, and then get ready because he often does have a second Black Mortal Blade attack that you can just dodge right behind. You can also choose to run away. Just wait for the deflect. After that jump attack, whether you dodge or you deflect, he will follow it up either with that big slash that you can deflect, a swirling slash that you have to jump over, or the Perilous Thrust that you can Mikiri counter. But you can see, even though I forgot to use the Demon of Hatred memory and I didn't use any buffs, that fight can go very quickly.
In the end, I was powerless, but Ashina will rise once more. The dragon blood surging through her veins. With this, Ashina's long night comes to an end.
Pitiful grandchild. This was your last wish. To see Ashina returned from the great beyond. Which means Sekiro. I must destroy you. Count Sekiro!
Like pretty much every fight that we've encountered in this game, you want to be aggressive, especially in this first phase of Isshin the Sword Saint. What we want to do is just attack until we see him deflect, and then get ready for one of the only very few opportunities that he has to attack. We've already seen a couple here, one where he hits us with his palm and then he pushes backwards for a thrust that we can Mikiri counter, or he can do one where he will back up and actually sheath his sword with a slight hint of a kind of glowing part of the blade, just like you see here. And if you're up in his face when he does that, he will actually do one quick slash followed by a perilous slash that you have to jump over. But if you give him distance, then he will instead do an Ashina cross, and my recommendation is simply to just run backwards when he does the cross. You can see he really loves to do that pushback with the thrust, and if he does an Ichimonji, just be wary that whether you deflect it or you dodge it, he's probably going to follow it up with that wind attack, so get rid of dodge at the last second. Here we are in phase 2, and the tactic does change a little bit. I always start by running until he does one of these jump attacks, so I can get in and start getting my attacks off until he deflects. When he winds up that wind attack, I'm going to use the umbrella, but I'm not using projected force. Instead, I'm going to lower the umbrella and just walk in and start doing my normal sword attacks until I get a deflect. Anytime I have to reset the encounter, I always wait for him to do a jump, and then I sprint at him and do a sprinting slash. If you see him jumping backwards in phase 2, make sure you're dodging towards him kind of late though, so you can go right under that sword spear. Here's the wind attack, umbrella to block, and then just go right back into my attacks. Often it really does go exactly like this, where it's just hit, hit, deflect, hit, hit, deflect, dodge towards him when he jumps backwards. And there we have the second death blow. We're now going into phase 3, which can be the most dangerous, but it can also be the easiest because of this. When he does that jump with the kanji, that means he is going to be throwing lightning at you. And if you use the Mist Raven as the kanji phase, you can not push any other button, and then while you're in middle of the air, while you're in that jump, you just hit the attack button and send it right back at him. It's a lot safer than trying to do a lightning reversal without it. Now I do also use the umbrella occasionally for this fight, just for some of the wind attacks. But again, just like in phase 2, if I need to reset the encounter, I'm gonna wait until he will do a jumping attack. And of course, watch his gun, which we haven't seen a lot of. But if you're just sprinting circles around him, he can hit you with almost nothing. So here is the wind attack that actually shoots 2 slices at you. This is what you will get as a skill once you beat Isshin the Sword Saint. So there's the jump, let's get in there. Wait for the deflects. There's the Mist Raven. Tons of damage. You can just run up and get a couple of free hits, wait for the deflect. Getting out of the way there. Now like I said, you absolutely can do the lightning reversal without the Mist Raven, but there's a couple of problems with it. Number one, you're going to take some damage, but also, if you don't jump towards him, more than likely the lightning is not even going to hit Isshin the Sword Saint. Running away from the bullets. Right now I'm just waiting for another jump opportunity. You can see I didn't kill him right there, and that was actually because I just wanted to keep the fight going to try and see a few more of his moves. But this is how easily this fight can go. The Mist Raven is a game changer, and I don't see enough people using it in this fight. It is true, I don't use it in most of the gameplay, but for this fight in particular, it is just such an advantage. There's lightning, there's the Mist Raven, and let's take out Isshin one final time. And if you've been hearing the phrase, hesitation is defeat, for days now, and you just want to take it out on him, feel free. You can do anything you want to him. But then when you're finally ready to put the Sword Saint to rest,
Do it! Well done, Sekiro. Farewell.
and we get the memory of Saint Isshin. At his peak, Isshin Ashina devoted himself to deadly conflict in pursuit of strength, a single-minded killing machine of a man. We also get the Dragon Flash ability, which fortunately I was able to get him to use on us. In his younger years, Isshin was a devil with the sword, spending his days in pursuit of life or death combat. He often ruminated on how a cut should be made, but his blade always moved first. So with this skill, you can charge it to send out shockwaves, but you can also just perform a really, really fast slash from sheath, kind of like the Ashina Cross. And we've unlocked the Gauntlet of Strength. So to talk about the Gauntlet of Strength, right now, just having beat the game and seen this ending, or this particular set of endings, we've unlocked the Severance Gauntlet, which has you fight Guardian Ape, Great Shinobi Owl, True Corrupted Monk, Genichiro Way of Tomoe, and the inner Isshin Sword Saint, which is a much more aggressive version of Sword Saint Isshin with additional moveset as well. If you complete that gauntlet, you get the memory of Inner Ishin, which does increase your attack power, and you get another's memory, the Tengu, so you can actually take on the form of the Tengu. We also get the Divine Air Gauntlet, which has you fighting Gyobo Oniwa, Lady Butterfly, and then Inner Genichiro, which again is a souped up, more aggressive version of Genichiro. If you defeat that gauntlet, you get the Sakura Dance Combat Art, and you get the memory of Inner Genichiro. If you do the Shura ending, and you see it through, you unlock the Gauntlet of Shura, which has you fighting Emma, Ishin Ashina, the Demon of Hatred, and Inner Father Owl, the one back at Hirata Estates. Again, a much more aggressive, more dangerous version of Owl. If you complete that gauntlet, you get the memory of Inner Father and another's memory, the Shura, which is a very, very cool skin. If you beat all 3 gauntlets, then you unlock the Mortal Journey, which has you fighting all of those for no reward. The way the gauntlet works is you can use items, you can use healing, you can rest in between. You simply cannot die a true death. You can resurrect, you can use your bundled Jizo statues, but if you die without a resurrection node available, you have to start the gauntlet over, even if you are really deep into the Mortal Journey. It also does not take into account your attack power or your new game cycle, but your vitality is. So getting all the prayer necklaces before you start this journey is definitely recommended. But that is all there is to Sekiro. Now we just have to kneel before the Divine Air and decide what it is we want to do in order to set him free, or perhaps pay the ultimate price ourselves. But we're going to see all 3 of those endings right now. But before we do that, I have to talk about a really, really cool feature, and that is in the cutscene after we defeated Genichiro, you might have been a little bit confused. I know I certainly was, when Ishin actually crawled out of his grandson's body. And I had to do some thinking and some digging on this, and it's because he held the Mortal Blade. And if you remember, we got a scroll that talked about the Black Mortal Blade. The Black Scroll. In addition to the Red Mortal Blade, there exists one that is black in color. The blade's name is Open Gate, and is said to hold the power to open a gate to the underworld. It is through this power that it creates life. I beseech you, make offerings for the dragon's blood. Genichiro had been seeking out the Black Mortal Blade, and indeed he has found it. And because his grandfather Ishin Ashina had passed away, we saw his corpse with Emma in the castle, his final wish was to actually use his own body as a conduit, as a gate to the underworld, and bring his grandfather back to hopefully continue the power of Ashina through the ages. What a cool detail. And now we are left with poor Kuro, and exactly what we are going to do about it.
Wolf, where are you?
And here we are presented with our 3 options. Give him the Dragon Tears, the Tears in the Everblossom, or the Tears and the Frozen Tears. And I'm going to leave the Everblossom till the end because it is my favorite ending. Possibly not the one that is going to be considered canon if ever we get a Sekiro 2, but it's my personal favorite.
I am at your side. Take the Dragon Tears.
My sworn shinobi. Now. Sever these ties of immortality. I think it is best that you have this. No doubt, the day will come. When a shinobi arrives, seeking strength.
I am at your side. Take the dragon tears. We must leave this place, my lord.
Lord Kuro, may you be at rest. Allow me to hold you in my heart. Everyone, it is time. I must depart. The journey to sever our ties with fate will be a very long one indeed. And yet, you still wish to join us.
I do.
You have my thanks, Shinobi of the Dragon. Know that Kuro shares my joy. Let us depart to the west, to the birthplace of the Divine Dragon.
I am at your side. Take the dragon tears. I hereby condemn the last immortal. May you live on and embrace what it means to be human.
So you're leaving?
Yes. I too will live for every moment. And then I will pass on. Just as my shinobi did for me. Lady Emma, I owe much to you as well.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this series of everything possible in Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. I hope you learned something, and if you did, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you learned. And if I missed something, or if you have any other better strategy or anything you want to discuss, let me know that as well down below so we can all keep learning. This has been an absolute blast, and I have to tell you, it has been a journey for me. This series took me 2 years to complete, which is nearly 2 years too long. But what happened was I started playing this game and I was playing it like a Souls game, and I wasn't enjoying it. I tried to do a blind let's play of it and I was miserable, and I wasn't enjoying the game or the interaction I was having with my very own community because of it. I had to give it up several different times until I came back afresh and realized this is not Dark Souls, this is not Bloodborne. Once I understood what this game was and what it wasn't, it really struck me as something unique, something incredible, and something that I hope each and every one of you have had the opportunity to play, and if not, maybe this guide will get you to where you need to go. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey. I can't wait for the next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.